Listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes, and I'm very privileged to have Miss Ninni Ma here. She is a spiritual teacher and a life coach, and we're going to get to know her and have a great conversation. So, Ninni, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I earlier in my life I had some changes. I had some strange experiences in my body, and I found out that I had a Kundalini experience in the beginning of my life, and it felt like fire. It felt like big waves in the body, like orgasm waves. I got really embarrassed about myself. I did not know what to do, and then a friend held me to the bed, and I was just laying totally quiet until it went away. And it really came out of a drink of hot chai. So yeah, that's, that was the strange experience I had from I was 20 years that time.
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. But later on, I found out that I had a lot of stuff from my childhood. I had to look at something was not right and so on. So later in my life, I wanted to change my life because things were not going well, and I was tired of it. And then one day it was too much, so I said to myself, now I don't want to continue in this road anymore. I want to be free. I want to meet some big love in life. I don't know what it was. It was not a person, but it was something I did not know what it was about. And then I went on a path where I became a seeker of liberation, but I also found out that I had a lot, some kind of sexual abuse in my story, and so what I had to deal with, and under the way, then all the different kind of experiences came out of this, what we are going to talk about today. It ended up with that I left the yoga world, and then I had some will call it awakening, where all my thoughts they stopped, and it was like a wheel. It was snurring around, and the wheel they had a breakdown with the thoughts, and then it begins going slower and slower and slower, and suddenly it stopped the wheel, and the thoughts they fall down, and it was like they came out of my hand like if you have a wet soap, and then they just slipped out. So that was the beginning of my new life, if you could say it that way. Yeah.
You know, talking with people who've had some form of sexual abuse in their life, it seems like you come to a point in life where all of a sudden you not only face it, but it opens up new doors for you. And once you face it, that is, the doors are opened, and you have I guess like a religious experience. It's the only way to explain it for me. And
yeah,
you know, it just motivates you to want to help other people that have gone through similar things.
yeah, I can tell you about one experience I had when it really, because it slowly came up in my mind. I mean, first it came like dreams, and then there came more and more small pictures up about it. But there was one day where everything just I accepted what I was experiencing, and I had a lot of anxiety, and I was laying in the bed, and the bed was really shaking, and I did not know what to do, and it was painful, it was hurting. And then I asked, because I have seen it in the movie, I asked God for help, because maybe, and I said, I really want to give my heart. I really want to give my heart to you, because I mean, I have lost my life and so on. And I really try to give the rest of me into this. And then there came an experience of a light being in the bedroom, in the corner where it was a little darker. Not like a big person, but I could see the beer and the head and a little of the top of the person. And it was very vivid. It was not like the skin and so on, but I could feel there was a warm energy in this light being coming to me. And I'm from Denmark, and we are not religious in Denmark. So and I said, I don't like religions. I don't believe in religions. Who are you? Are you Johannes or are you Jesus? But it did not. He did not reply to me. But I could feel this warmth, and I could feel this quietness which came into me. So instead of was shaking so much I could not sleep, I totally fall into peace and rest, and then I could sleep.
Wow.
So yes, so that gave me this other kind of experience. Okay, I mean, it's awful what I felt, but now I feel the opposite. I get the experience how life really is. You can say on the other side, but I mean, it's what we have the opportunity to experience as people, as a person, human being.
Yeah. So spirituality and religion are definitely two different things. So a spiritual awakening, a spiritual experience, that's what I feel like you had. And being that you said you came from a country that's not really religious,
Yes.
I feel like God is using you, and
Yes.
you know, because when people say, "Oh, we're not religious," but yet they see somebody like you that had an experience like that, that's going to make people want to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So, but you were already doing yoga before all that happened?
No, it
No.
came later. Yeah. I took a psychotherapist education because and that was I started that before this was happening. I think maybe I was almost not totally finished, but it took 4 years. So, but that's the way I started to figure out about the human psyche and so on, how we build and clean out of the stuff and all that kind of thing. So, but I had a teacher. He had been at Osho in India, so he teach us meditation. So when I started at that psychotherapist education, I started begin meditating. So it was more from that side I came into it, and then later I came into doing yoga. I mean the physical. So yeah,
So what you did is you went on a journey,
yes,
and you picked up knowledge along the way. You picked up your experiences.
yes,
Whenever I'm going to use this analogy because
yeah,
I grew up reading comic books, but the one thing about a superhero is the
yeah,
journey to become the superhero. I think that's what
yes,
attracts us to them. I mean, even
yeah,
in Greek mythology, you look what Hercules went through to become what he became.
yes,
And it's for someone to just automatically have all the answers and everything right off the bat doesn't really resonate with people. It doesn't make any sense.
no,
They want to, when they see what you've gone through to be where you're at today, then they know that they can face whatever they need to face.
yeah. Yeah, I will come to a point later about this. But okay, I can say it. But yeah, the day I had this awakening, I was very excited, and I felt how I was one really confused in one with the grass, the birds that come across sitting outside the fence when I went to sit at my desk, and we were looking into each other eyes. And when I looked in the eyes of this bird, I felt I was looking inside myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were like we are the same substance. So this that we are the same substance. That's some of the breaking point in it. And my whole life it's went through like a fast black and white film like that. And I saw some of all past experiences, the situation in life I did not like, but at that time I felt so grateful, and I feel that okay, that's why I'm standing here today because of all that was in this film. And when I was sitting at the desk, I was thinking, wow, I would like to tell people about what I have experienced and what I have found out and all this kind of stuff and so on. Because some people they were afraid about me and afraid about my power because I like to make people use their power and so on. And I was thinking, okay, you can make a film. Yeah, but I mean, how to tell people something great if they really don't want to listen and don't dare? Okay, you can make a film because people like to get entertained. So, and I come from a family when we should not do a lot of great things normally. So it was just a thought, and I did not believe Ninni she could do this kind of thing. So then I just left it again. But suddenly later, I ran into a screenwriter, and I asked him, "Would you help me to write a book? Because a book, I think I could write. I can write a book. It's okay." Then he said, "Oh, I'm not so good at that because I'm writing script to films." He said. And then suddenly he had got me into a connection with an agent from America who was going to the Cannes Festival in France. And then suddenly I got an appointment with this agent, and then okay, I wanted to go there, but I was afraid about the film camera, the cinematic cameras. When I came to Canada, I saw them in the street. Oh my God, what are you doing here? I don't know. And and my mother, she was angry why I went there, and a lot of things. People thought I was lying, and I was crazy, and so on. But I was there 3 days, and the last day I went to meet him. And when I was sitting talking with him and telling my story and so on, he said, "Yeah, I don't think I have met anybody who have been to the Cannes Festival for the first time to make a film." No, I said, "I also don't know what's going on." I said, "I just try not to think." And then he was laughing. But, so, so yeah, then I started to make some one-liners, some scenes later on, and figure out how to do it. Yeah, it's still in process, but I mean, it's I don't know what is ending with my life, so that's just.
You don't know when we'll be able to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on
I
a
have
sec.
worked on a short and make it shorter and shorter because the film is expensive.
Can, can you repeat
That's
that?
really not.
Can you repeat all that? Because the camera froze. It's frozen
Yeah.
again.
Okay. I begin to make a short film script, and so then that's what I have done now because I was not used to this, but I haven't finished the short film. So now I'm ready to. I have made drawings, and I'm ready to collect the people, and I have to find the funding to it also. So this is a little side work I'm doing.
It's got to be exciting.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
do you know when we're gonna get to see it?
I hope we can shoot it later this year in a couple of months maybe, and I hope I can submit it to the Cannes Festival, so it's coming there in May next year.
Ooh.
So yeah, I don't know all details how we do everything, so I just learning by doing. I'm very good at that.
Oh, but whenever it comes out, you need to let me know so I can promote it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I would like if we can. I will show you some of the what we're doing under the way when we're shooting the film, if it's okay, because I like to really show you how it is and
Oh
ups
yeah,
and downs and conflicts and so on.
definitely, definitely. I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, to say I found out that what my heart is beat for, that is the most easy to attract in my world. If somebody is up to law attracting, so it's yeah,
Well, to put out something that's positive, I understand the hesitancy because let's face it, most people like negative stuff. Whenever you get on
yeah,
YouTube, because I watch YouTube just about all day long,
yeah,
but the most popular stuff is the
yeah.
negative stuff. And I do watch a lot of positive content, but I notice they don't get the views like the negative stuff does. And I mean, I get it, but
Yes,
it's kind of sad that we're that way.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, why I'm doing it is also because there's some messages that I like to get out. So in that way, and it's as you said, it's also interesting or a little strange that there is a lot of film with a lot of violence in,
Hmm.
and then people they get used to see this violence, so they get used to that's how the world is, and then it's difficult to see, oh, we can live in another way, we can feel in another way, we can because it's difficult to imagine. It have
Hmm.
also been that for myself, so yeah, that's important with some
You're
changes.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
We're so used to seeing that all the time that when there's a happy story, most people are like, yeah, right, that doesn't happen. It seems like all the positive
yeah,
and
yeah,
happy
yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
is the fantasy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And it also become it if we follow that lead with the violence in the movies and that way of living. And I mean, so is to open some new views for people that there is other ways of seeing or walking and behaviors that counts great. And it's also about that feeling how we feel inside ourselves.
Hmm.
But it's annoying always to go and feel fear about what do other people do to me and so
Yeah.
on.
Uh, all the
Yeah,
negative stuff that we're bombarded with in the news and movies and television
yeah,
shows, it's no wonder that we think of ourselves in a negative way.
yeah. And it's important to be very, very selective about what to see and what not to see, because it's very important to take this, sorry, I'm saying it, but responsibility about ourselves, that what
Hmm.
do I want to allow into myself, because people are talking about the environment and so on, but what I say, pollution is also, if you people see a lot of stuff which make them drag them down, feel bad, feel more anxiety more easily. When you see a lot of violence film, you know how vibration they slowly go longer down,
Yeah.
and this inner happiness is just disappearing away.
Yeah.
So what makes us feel good inside is really what we should look out for, instead of what is make us feel not well comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever we're driving around town, I mean, we picked this small town because we like that small town feel, and you know, you're getting
Yeah.
to know your neighbors and that kind of thing. And we've got all these people moving in from out of state. So they've taken all this beautiful
Yeah.
land and are building new homes and apartments and stores, and the beauty is disappearing slowly
Yes.
around us. That's what really
Yeah.
brings me down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to look about the near environment. To get some trees and get some cozy places, and how can we make this a nice place to live when they build a lot of big houses and so on. Because I don't think we can just change that movement, what is going on, that they build a lot in the big cities and people are moving to the big cities, there's more job and so on. So but it's important to have a interest in creating a more nature environment inside between the houses and so on. So because we are nature, so when we put the nature away, then we don't know who we are and we cannot feel the connection with ourselves. It gets so difficult, and that's also why it's difficult for people to know, shall I do this or shall I do that, because it's difficult to feel oneself what is right.
You know what
Yeah.
I really loved about moving into this house is that you could go in the backyard and you'd see rabbits running around, and they dig holes in the yard and
Oh,
have
that's
their
nice.
babies. And
Yeah.
I love that. We got a lot of nature around
Yeah,
here,
that's
but it's slowly starting to get pushed out because of all the new construction going on. And I mean, I know it's progress,
okay.
but it's really sad when you're used to seeing trees, and then you could see the
Yes,
hills and everything behind it, and
yes.
now there's buildings there, and it's
Yeah,
sickening.
I understand. Yeah, I understand that what you're saying. That I yes, that's really there's really something to adjust to when all these buildings are coming. So let's see what you're saying next year.
Well,
Uh,
the next plan is that we're going to move further out into the country so we can
yeah. That's
get
what
away
I
from.
was thinking. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people or young people in Europe, I don't know about over there with you, but they go into eco villages or something like that, and try to make another kind of living. Maybe they have their own houses, but something with nature where they're interested into make a good connection with nature and how they're working with the soil and so on and the
Oh
house.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My most relaxating time is when I'm out working in my
Yeah.
vegetable garden.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I also love that. I love to be out and put my hands on the soil. I feel so happy when I do that.
So all these
Yeah.
experiences that you've had is kind of driven you to help other people. I noticed you do Facebook lives, and I see the
Yeah.
comments that people are so happy that you're on and you're teaching them.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you just
Yeah.
decided one day, hey, I need to pass on this good word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like a, some kind of a there's a little big force or something that I have to do. There's some work or some service or some I just have to do. That is a part of me. I can also do other kind of stuff, but it's I have to be there. Yeah, and of course it also helps other people I talk with.
You know, people don't realize how much happier that they are when they're helping other people or when they're doing stuff for other people. That, you know, because we're geared
Yeah,
through social media and everything else. Just think about me, 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 me. And, you
yes,
know, what can
yes,
I get? What can I have?
yeah,
But if you really stop and think about it, you're more happy when you're doing for others.
yes, yeah. It's much more beneficial. It's also a little like some people, they are the one who is always the giver, and some people or forget themselves, and then there's some people they always the taker.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one who is the other category who is don't value themselves so much, and the other kind who is overvalue themselves and thinking too much about what can I get instead of giving. So then there come this unbalance in the relationships.
Yeah. So, do you do those Facebooks every day?
No, not every day. Uh, it's once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah, sometimes 2 times a week, or sometimes I shift a little off. But yeah. So
Do you make your living off of the yoga or other things that you do?
the most of it I do it with the client I talk with, the students, and the life coaching.
Oh, and I'm sorry, yeah, I forgot the life coaching as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So did you have to get a certification for that?
No, I have my psychotherapy certification, and then I live with some gurus, and I also have got some teachings from some business coaches and so on. So I put it into my own way, and mostly it's people who undervalue themselves I work with, and people who have to figure out that okay, I'm good enough as I am as a man or as a woman, and to make the relationship work better. And some who have I made a meditation course. I have an online meditation course on it also, where there is some of the teachings inside about creating more inner happiness, joy, and how the mind works and how to manage the mind and so
I tell you what, meditation
on.
made
Together
such
with
a
that.
difference in my life. It helped me, you know, I've suffered through depression, anxiety, and PTSD,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they give you every medication under the sun, and I just
yeah.
felt like it wasn't working. And
No,
let me stress to all of you out there, I am not a doctor. I'm just telling you what worked
no.
for me. You consult with a
Yeah,
physician before you do anything.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
weaned myself off the medication, and I use meditation to help me through all those situations, and it's made such a
wow,
difference. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. When you can sit down and do those positive affirmations, and you can convince yourself that everything's going to be okay. And then when
yeah,
you go through whatever situation, say like I'm going into a crowd of people, well, then
yeah,
I do my meditation, I get in the crowd, and then once it disperses and I, you know, go home or whatever, then each time that happens, it's like it's building my confidence, and it's
yeah.
making it easier and easier and easier to where I don't even have to meditate as long when I go somewhere.
No. Oh, that sounds great. Um, I mean, of course, it's also what I have done. I give to other people. So that with the PSTD also.
Mm.
So that's is the meditation is, I mean, in the beginning it can be a little annoying to get into it because the mind is have a lot of thoughts,
Mhm.
but a little then it becomes more easy.
Yeah. When you first sit down to meditate, it seems like everything in the world is going through your mind at that time.
Like, yeah. Yeah. How do I ever get be able to sit here and continue sitting? But it comes fast. So
Yeah.
I mean that's why I made that meditation course, because that was to help people quiet their mind, um, especially in the beginning there. But it's I have had a lot of beneficial be connected with other people who had a quiet mind, which helped me to be quiet. And when there's not so many thoughts, then we can have space to be more happy. So when there's a lot of thoughts, it's not so easy to feel happiness or joy, or feel good inside also.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Social media is the worst. That bombards you with so much garbage.
Yeah. There's so many triggers for the mind, for the ego in social media.
Hmm.
You know, do this, do that. Have you not done this? Oh, you're not good enough at this. You're not good enough at that, and so on. It's really, I mean, we really have to always be sharp and lock down or close off, because there's so many advertisements and they become worse and worse.
Oh yeah. Just so
Yeah.
much of this political stuff going on, and people calling each other names, and just there's so much garbage on there. How is there going to be any peace? You know what I mean? And it starts with us. We have to
And also,
change.
they are, yeah, we are the change, and it's very important. But that's also why I made this live, because it's very important that we understand that we are the one who is changing the world, not the politics people.
Hmm.
Yeah, and all what we do, whatever it is, it don't look big, but all the small things we are doing all together, that's what really is changing the world. And that is so really very much important. And what you talked about before about the politics people, they're really a father figure for people, or mother figure, when their behavior, then people think they can also act like that.
Hmm.
Figures, I mean, to show how to behave. So it's so important that we understand the responsibility we have about our own life, no matter how it has been, and also that together, even it's now it became like a mission, but it's not a religion, but it is like a mission. Like we have this talk here about, oh, it's important we begin to reflect about how we behave and how we can behave different also in our own life sometimes, because everybody gets triggered sometimes, um, and by doing that it is it's giving a big reflection, if you ask me, in the weather and in all areas on the planet, because if you and your neighbor, me and my neighbor, changing my frequency, then we are helping others changing their frequencies.
Hmm.
So in that way, when we all connected, like when I talked about when I look in the eyes of the crow, that I am the crow also, and I am you, and you and me, we are. It's maybe a little strange to hear about that we all are one. We can hear all at once, but to get the understanding, it takes time. We have to hear it many times, but it will sink more and more in by every time we are talking about this subject.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if I say, who is looking out of your eyes? It's not your eye apple who is looking out of your eyes. It's something else, because you say, this is my hand, this is my arm, this is my head, this is my body, and it's there is somebody who is looking out of our eyes. There's somebody who is looking out of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody who is reflecting about what I'm saying. There is somebody in there, and it's not your body, but it's the real you.
Mm.
So what is it? I mean, it's something which is invisible because we cannot see it. But it is something much greater than just our body, because it's something which is can see and can um, observing and so on. There is a lot of things coming in and out of this one, which is looking out of the eyes. And when you're meditating, you get more and more connected with the one who's looking out of your eyes.
That's interesting.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
And this is part of your teachings.
And this is like a, yes, it is. So like I'm talking you into a deeper understanding, a deeper connection just with talking, and it's maybe some words comes, but the energy itself is merging. So we call it the consciousness, the awareness. So it's you can say getting into understanding of itself by this conversation we have, because the energy is going together, and without you and me knowing it, it's just working together. I can tell you, earlier I was listening to a guru one day. It was in India, and there was nothing, but that the next day, in the shower, or 2 days after, there came a click. There came a click in my head. Something shifted. So it's quite interesting that suddenly some shift comes. So yeah, it's just not really speaking is in a bigger scale. There's a lot of things happening in our energy fields, in our, we can call it energy bodies, and our soul, and all that is getting connected and so on. So yeah. Oh, that was a little of the spiritual side.
I was going to ask you, do you have a website?
Yeah, I have a website. It's called Ninni Ma. N-I-N-I. Yeah, maybe we can write it down after, but it's Ninni, Ninni, VININI.com.
And that's where you can that's where you can sign up for your classes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm also on YouTube. I'm also in Facebook. But yeah, you can always contact me if you want to have a chat, or what about doing work or anything, or what you're doing, and whatever it is.
Is Facebook
So
the only social media you have?
no, I have Facebook. There's Ninni Ma on Facebook, and then I Instagram also,
And that's the
and
same.
I'm in yeah, Ninni in Instagram and in YouTube and in my webpage.
How, how much is one of your classes?
What? How much?
It froze again.
What did you say? Was it?
How,
Yeah.
how much is one of your
Hi.
classes?
Um. Yeah, it depends what kind of classes it is, but I mean when I'm live it's free, and then I have the private one, the
Hmm.
private sessions. They are 80 euro,
Oh, okay. So I guess
80 euro for one
80,
hour.
you said 80 euro for one.
Yeah.
I probably suggest that my listeners or my audience would check you out on Facebook and see what you're all about. When do you usually do your Facebook lives?
Sunday mornings or Tuesday evenings.
Okay.
You are in Texas,
Yes.
yeah. So are you 6 hours before the Europe the Europe
For
time zone?
most of the UK, we're 6 hours behind.
Ah, okay. So now you're 7 hours where I am right now. Okay, yeah, I get it. I will try to make some lives and so on, so you viewers can come and say hello and join for free and ask some questions. It's very welcome to do that. Yeah,
Well, that'd be awesome. I'm going to put the link to your
yeah.
Facebook page up so people can click on it and go check you out. And I
Yeah,
recommend that you go and you watch one of these lives and then, but make your decision for yourself.
yeah, I will. I will. Yes, of course, because I just got to know you now. I did not know because so I was looking into some of the videos the other day, so it's quite interesting what you were doing, and it's so great. So it's nice that somebody like you is doing another kind of television show that what we used to in the channel where people have to pay a lot and there's nothing to see, or it's so I really say that's really great.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
little on the
I
nerdy
want to
side.
say, yeah, I'm also on the nerdy side, and I'm very grateful that you invited me to come and talk. So
It's my
I
pleasure.
think it's going both ways here. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's great.
Well, I'm definitely going to put all the links to all your stuff in the description, and
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to your film coming out. You got to let me know as soon as it's ready to come out.
yeah, I will. I also there was some with the experiences. So if you ever want to later on some of all the experiences I had, we can always talk about them another day. Oh, let's see.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to have you come back on so we can talk more about these things. I'm sure my audience would love
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
hear.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So we'll
yeah,
we'll schedule something in the near future so we can do that.
yeah. Okay, so then we go a little more in the depth with in between what we have talked about today. That would be great. Yeah.
That would be
So
awesome. Well,
yeah.
Nini, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on my show and reaching out to me. Um, put it for some of you, you don't know, I put a post up on Facebook and I was looking for guests. Well, there's a Facebook page where you can go and you know, put out a post for the group, and it was such a great response. I was so amazed. And just a matter of hours, I had like 15 to 20 people wanting to come on the show, and then you reached out to me, and we finally got to connect, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a great meeting you also. So yeah,
Well,
it's a great show you have on there.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wish you many blessings and much fortune in the future. And I also want to thank all of y'all out there. If you are new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. I hope you'll come back. Please subscribe. For those of you who are regular to the channel, I can't convey how much I appreciate what y'all have done for me. And you've allowed me to do this. And until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network